Well, I was going to do it 4 minutes left, but then the countdown decided to be weird and flash about and restart. Streamlabs is doing well tonight. So, hello everybody, and how are you all doing tonight? Welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. I hope you are well. And tonight we are returning to Javier's Craven 042. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. And, well, you may notice it's slightly different to before. I don't blame you for not noticing, because it has been a while. It is indeed alive, Mr. Mole. And good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. How are you? I hope you are well. I've just realised that because of Streamlabs messing around and me hitting the button slightly earlier than planned because of it, I haven't sent my We Are Live messages. I had best do that. Right, that looks like them gone. And indeed, yes, Javier is here on his business account. Very posh and all that. I'm going to move this over because it's actually really in the way of my arm getting round. So yes, Javier's 3D printed Craven, available from his Shapeway shop. We've still got a roof to put on it, the supports for that. There's a few more bits to do, but the bit we want first is the valve gear. I know words, me. Which you'll remember we had a lot of done before, but it was having some issues. I looked into those off stream and we moved on to a different project whilst I worked that out. It's now been quite a while, but it is back. Oh yeah, of course, I'm forgetting everything because of that not going live thing. Let me open the chat bot. Thank you for the reminders, everyone. Chatbot will be open in a minute. It can genuinely take a minute for GaryBot to start up. He's a bit slow. So yes, issues I looked into. There was an issue with the print where the cylinders were actually slightly, because they were scale length apart, and obviously we're not working with quite scale parts, they were slightly too close, things were catching. This one's been moved out. This one hasn't yet. Javier has since put these further apart based on my testing on the print, so if you're to buy it now you would get it without needing to do that. And it looks like the chatbot is live for those of you that want kittens or links to Javier, etc. It lives, counts up to about 3 or 4 now. Excellent. And there we go, there's some response from the chatbot, so it is definitely working. So yes, we need to make new these bits that come out. I can't remember. I'm good with loco terminology. I've never claimed to know how a steam loco works, because I don't. The ones I had made got busted in my testing, so we're going to make some completely new ones. I've actually got some brand new brass rod for doing that with. That is going to be one of our jobs for this evening, hopefully. We want to see it. Do we want to see it run? No, we don't want to see it run, and the reason we don't want to see it run is because my controller is elsewhere at the moment. Otherwise we would want to see it run. We want to get some pickups on it at some point. We're going to go for pick up on all 6 wheels because of course we are. So that needs to happen. Slide rods, you're probably right there. And hello Will, how are you this evening? I hope you are well. Something to do with Steam, whatever that is. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Surely you can get it by touching a 9-volt battery to the track. That would require me to A, have some track to put it on, B, have a 9-volt battery, and C, actually get it all properly wired up. I was I was going to run it by putting some wires onto the contacts direct from the controller. So yeah, other than the lack of track to put it on because I've been ripping track apart this week, and the lack of 9-volt battery, good plan. Slide bars, surely. There we go. Okay, slide bars it is. I think it's slide bar or slide rod or sideboards. It's probably not sideboards, but I do have a sideboard. Because why wouldn't I? So yes, these are our plans for this evening. Slidey bits, slide rods probably. I like the idea, slidey bits. Now I'm going to grab one of these, they're all going to come down. There's 5 of them up here, balanced precariously on top of my fake wall. Let's get the other 4 down because they are all falling. They are going everywhere, isn't it great? There we go, much better. E move, F put the train together, G get a glass of water. Getting a glass of water I approve of, because hydration is important. I don't have my hydration is important mug today. It's full of coffee stains. But yes, so I have some 0.7mm wire, which I have measured up very nicely, sits in these and across where we want. And so we're going to make the 2 rods that way and a third coming down that way, which will go up to the foot plate and then be connected to the 2 bars coming across. It all sounds so simple, doesn't it? Who knows, if we're lucky, it might actually be that simple. Slidey boys. Yeah, that'll do, slidey boys. How do you make the rods again and figure out how they work? Yeah, like how I just explained. But I used actual proper droppy bits that come down here from a DJH etch last time, which I won't be using this time because I really knackered it all when I was doing it last time. So you're going to get to see me do it again. That is the answer. But, you know, in theory everything works. We have made it turn wheels before, so that's all good. He hopes. So yeah, that is the plan for this evening. The first thing we're going to do is cutting this one off and moving it slightly further out, and we're going to drill some holes. There are already, where's my pointy things? Here they are. There are already channels here for the rods to go into. We're also going to drill some holes at the end of the channels, just so they've got a little bit more, the rods can slide inside and be well and truly held in place. Droppy bits, that is exactly the correct term, yes. So as I say, this is not something this bit where we're cutting off here is not something you need to do if you were to order it from Javier now, because it has been corrected on the production model. This is of course the test model. It's just already done, which is nice. Question: if we can have flux kittens, can we also have drill drakes? I mean, the thing about commands is I never know what to give them as responses. That's why new commands don't often get set up. These these wheels have not been off for a very long time. It's almost a shame to take them off. Oh, that's still loose, that's okay, I can just slide that out. It's almost like I planned for the fact I was going to have to do this. Almost. Please don't ever accuse me of actually planning things. Because of course, whilst we cut this off, we don't want to damage anything. And screws. At some point, I think there needs to be a limit on how many commands there are. I agree, Alex. I completely agree. Unfortunately, Streamlabs chatbot doesn't have a limit. And if people want to suggest commands to me, they can. If they suggest them during the live stream, I will forget about them. If they suggest them to me separately, via my Twitter or my Discord or something else, Facebook, that's the one I was thinking of. See, even I can't remember I have a Facebook. It only has 10 likes, the poor thing. So yeah, if they suggest it via those things, I'm less likely to forget. One's easy, surely, quack. Well, I suppose. No command limits, otherwise we could literally have everything become one. No, only two become one. Way, first song reference. For the shoe screws squeak turn. Commands for everything. Remind Gary of commands automatically. That's never going to be a command. That wonderful moment, platform canopies I'm working on are getting longer than I can handle in one piece. That's a good canopy length. I approve of canopies you cannot hold in one hand, because otherwise they're not really long enough to keep you dry. Right, actually I shouldn't do this just yet, because this one's stuck on at the wrong angle currently. So it needs to come off and be realigned, and I should do that first whilst I've got this one at the right angle to make sure I get it right. I should also put it in the clamp and drill the holes in it whilst it's off. Look at me thinking, aren't you all surprised? I certainly am. Going to be probably about 2 metres long in the end, well 1.5. That's quite long. Oak Hill isn't quite that long. Suggest you add slide bars before attaching the cylinder. I mean, maybe that would be a good idea, but that would require measuring and getting it right. Oh, it's coming off. Yeah, because it's to remember when we had to change those early on when I found that they were too close together. You had to recad it so the cylinders were slightly further out. So you don't need to do that anymore just on this one. And I'm not worried about the paint and taking off because it's getting repainted, because I do have proper Phoenix LBSC Loco Green now, which is the earlier pre-Straubly shade, which is what I want this to be in. Now, I realise I'm off camera right now, but all I'm doing is chopping off a big bit of glue that's stuck on the side of this. I will adjust the camera so you can see it. once it's in the clamp. Remembering, of course, that Linton Town is intended to take bogey coaches. You can get free bird cages into Oak Hill, and you can run round them in the loop. So, we are drilling some additional holes here. Of 0.75 mil. They will not be very deep, but they will be enough just to get the rod in a little bit further and somewhere for it to slide home and get a slightly better grip. Bit of glue in there, I'm just getting out so that this can sit far enough back that we're not just coming down the outside with it. There, a whole slew of command suggestions on Discord. Well, I shall see them when I read through Discord after stream. Big bit of glue at the bottom that's at a slight angle, and every time I'm getting down on it, I just slide outwards. I start at an angle, I should be able to get that bit of glue out. That's the theory. Of course, all you lucky people who aren't working on the test build won't have to do this quite so much. And good evening, Thomas. And there is the chat bot reminding you all to smash that like button or give it a gentle tap. And whilst you're there, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell if you haven't already. Because these things do genuinely help the channel. Especially at the moment when I've had a week off, YouTube needs those figures to say, oh, he is still doing stuff and getting viewers. We'll keep promoting him. One of many reasons I don't like having the week off. Right, let me just quickly check that is... Yep, that's sliding in there nicely. Not so much on the other side where it had that big bit of glue, but that slides nicely into that hole. As you can see, it's holding itself in place now, which will give us a lot more strength once it's all together. I'll say I need to get me an Archimedes drill. It's a question of when at this point. They're handy. I actually have two with different size chucks in the end of them to save me having to keep changing them. What is a non-Archimedes drill? A non-Archimedes drill is a drill that doesn't have a big Archimedean spring on it. Archimedean screw, even. It's a very sprained wrist, yeah. How the devil is everyone? I am very well, thank you. Yourself? Don't know about everybody, but I am well. How are you fellas? Sort of chilling. I'm all good. I'd say this is what I like, is when everyone's good. Right, we're going to move back to the model now. Get this cylinder back on at the right angle this time. As I stuck it on with too much of an incline on it last time. You see, this is actually very nearly flat, and I'd put quite an angle on this one. But never mind. It will be super glued for now and built up with epoxy once on the back, once I am happy it is in the right place. Screw refers to the drill shank rather than drill bit. Now that makes sense. Yes. So the Archimedes drill has an Archimedes screw on it, so just doing that is turning the drill. And mine are sprungs that they push themselves back up. And I've just realised that I forgot to turn the noises off on the phone. Let's do that. Because otherwise it'll be annoying. I think I found a quote for drill drakes. It's a very sprained wrist. Interesting, I have one of those without a spring. Yet both mine have springs, and I've had them without springs before. I like them with the springs. Right, cheers, bit worn, taking a break from the channel redesign. Oh yes, I forgot to check out your new titles the other day. I was out somewhere when you first posted them, so I didn't get to see them. And I forgot to check them out once I got in. But yeah, these won't stay as a super glue bond. The super glue will hold them in place to start with, but once I am completely happy that they are on at the right angle and working okay, I will build up on the back of them with some 2-part epoxy to give them the extra strength they'll need. Now if I lay that along there and it lays flat along there, that should mean they're at the same angle. That's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Right. So there's Alex putting all the links in. Progress on all front changes. And James gets in there with a Facebook and some kittens. No, we don't need any fluffy PPE, that's no good for you. Regular PPE though, that's important. Especially masks. Masks are very important. Wear a mask. Payne's head on desk. Slide bars are good. Slide bars are good. I have a drill by the Archimedes man. It too is sprung. Mine has a big pushy bit on the top. Mine does not. Now that that one's back on, I can go back to the saw and cut this one off. And once again stress that this is not a normal thing you need to do. Fluffy might work for a mask filter. Well, I suppose. Not too fluffy though. I mean, this one's more fluffy because it's old. It is not my day-to-day mask, it is just my paint spraying mask. Yes, I do find it weird that that's a sentence I can say and actually mean the things I'm saying. So I'd like to remind everyone, I've done this before and I paid for this logo, so if I break it, it's my fault. But also, I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Or, you know, do if you're having problems with your cylinders being too close together. But unless you've got that very specific circumstance, don't try this at home. Meat cleaver? No, don't use a meat cleaver either. Right, that's through to the foot plate. And there we go. See? Perfectly fine. I know what I'm doing. We're going to get some plasticard. I don't have much of the right thickness for this anymore. That is, I believe, the stuff I want. Yep, that is the same thickness as that. Again, I did actually measure all this before. I do know what I'm doing. On standby. No, it's 999 over here. I have it, yeah. PPE, because fingers are important, indeed. Just put an image of my drill, as I do quite like it. Not as fiddly to use. Awesome. I assumed you meant on the Discord server. Now that that's off, we want to change back to the knife blade. And remove that bit of loose skin from my thumb that's definitely not there, because, I mean, how would that get there? We're going to cut a section of this that's way too big. God, not even one cut. Oh, of course not. I've been using this knife for slicing down the sleepers and stuff for the bridge for the 009. I say too big, that's like perfect. So we're going to put some super glue on there, get this bit drying and holding itself in place. And whilst it does that, we'll drill the deeper holes in this. There we go, and that's a much better bit of plastic to use as well because it's black. so it's hidden better amongst what is already painted. And then we have that also now in the vise. That side's got a fair amount of glue in it. Let's see if we can... I'm going to turn it round. That's what I'm going to do. Then it's on the right side of me, that I'm not trying to wrestle with the around the camera to do it. Again, all I'm doing with a knife here is removing the old glue. Not a normal job. And now I'm using the drill to drill away a bit of the glue. And there we go, we've got our extended hole on that side now. So now our rods will slide into the cylinders to give them that little bit extra strength. This is utterly drilling. Well, unfortunately, we do not have anything utterly riveting to be getting on with this evening. But there's the Twitter coming up. Remember to smash or gently tap the like button, folks. Thank you, Linny. Already gently depressed. One can't go wrong with kittens. So this cylinder now wants to go back on, pushed slightly outwards by our bit of plasticard. Which, as I say, Javier has now amended on the CAD, so any more of these sold have that okay. And of course it really is a shame because Javier did everything to scale on this and it's absolutely fantastic and I love it so very much. But the crank pins were just too thick. That sits down properly across both of them, it must be straight. I have also gently tapped, well hey, everything to scale, indeed. And as I say, Javier did a beautiful job of everything to scale. But unfortunately it is just one of those things. I hate threading these wheels onto the square axle ends. They're really good for quartering it, don't get me wrong. But I have such trouble getting them lined up in the first place. And that's my fault, no one else's. Everything to scale, pity about the track gauge. Yep. Chat command response, I'll put it in Discord. Everything as near as possible in double A. I'm not on Discord right now. Yeah, you can ignore it all. Or I can hold up my watch with all the things that are being said on Discord if you want, Alex. So you can read them all off the screen. Testing models so you don't have to. Yeah. Also because I love it. I love the fact that this is the first one. Should come with a certificate from Shapeways. You were the first person to buy this item. If it doesn't work, it's your own fault. Harry's smartwatch does everything, even tells me the time. Ah, sometimes. Can't have too much knowing what the time is. I mean, it will tell me what the time is right now. But only because no one's sending me any messages at the moment. What is one of its dumber features, that? Have I stuck that too far forwards? Because this is falling out now. That would be silly of me. I've got another set in my other DJH kit, so that's fine. It's not a problem. It can get sorted after I've done the slide bars. They go all the way round now though, and we did have problems with that before. But yeah, I was saying, one of the dumb features of my smartwatch. To get rid of a message, you swipe it like that and it goes away. But because the screen is locked, if I swipe the message it won't do anything because the screen is locked. And I can only unlock the screen when it is on its watch face, not when there is something displayed on it. Now I have to make an HO and an EM version. I'm wondering if it's easier to do the HO chassis and just scale it up. It probably is, you know. It probably is. Hydration is important, everyone. So yeah, my opinion on smartwatches is still, they're great if you don't have to pay for one. If you do have to pay for it, it's probably not worth it. So now we can slide that into there and it goes into the top of our slide bar. On top of our valvey thingy, I assume, and it holds itself in place. I'll tell you, these bits of brass I've bought, they're quite long. Almost as long as the workbench, and as people mostly know, I have quite a long workbench, and that can hold the full weight of it. Oh, and obviously I have lots of new Stroudley carriages. I got them pre-built on eBay, but we've seen me build Kay's carriages before. We don't need to see that. What we can have on stream instead is improving Kay's carriages. So, for example, this one here rocks a lot because its wheels aren't flat. And in fact, this axle is at an angle to the carriage. This one isn't. So, you know, that's good. So, future stream project, improving Kay's carriages. I think scaling up an HO chassis should work. There you go, you have the blessing of Ian. Who, of course, should have one of these in HO. Because it is a fantastic little loco. And look, there's a Discord message coming through. I now can't get rid of that to get back to the time until it goes away itself. Stupid smartwatch. So that is the extremity of our length. We want a Sharpie out of my collection of pens over here. We'll go with a blue one, because why not? The only problem is the EM axles of UK manufacturers are the same length as British 00. I think Lenny pointed that out to me. That's interesting. Definitely should have one, just waiting to see if you can make it work first. Fair enough. Well, remember Ian, whatever one you get will be better than this, because this is still the test build. And I have no doubt it will work. I mean, all it needs now is the slide bars. The thing runs, it just has no pickups and no slide bars. And then it's all just cosmetic. So if that is our extremity, best be, because clearly I cut these too short. Take the lid off again. That's a tricky bit. I think the well tank version of this is proper EM though. Probably because of how over deep 00 wheels are, the shoulders for the back-to-backs will be different. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Gauge against that. I'm fine. It's killing. I hope you are too. I've been working late on Sunday nights recently, but I felt I had to see this model being built. But it is good to have you here, Ian. So we want to cut it about there. He says confidently. And that should give us plenty oh yes, loads. Loads. That's what I wanted. I like cutting things so that they're too long. I don't know why I put the lid back on the Sharpie when I was going to need it that soon. And again, just there. And again, absolutely loads. That's what we're after. Plenty to work with. So we'll put that there a second. We'll get the soldering block out because we're going to want that. Actually, I'll probably have to give my apology around 10 PM's early start tomorrow. Fair enough, Ian. I certainly don't expect everyone to stay for the whole stream every time. I do know that it's a late one. But I have to work around having kids. So the stream is done whilst they're in bed. We shall let the iron heat up. We'll apply some solder to these to tin them. There's our top one. There's our bottom one. Get some of the Sharpie ink off there because solder will not stick to that. Which is a good tip actually. I keep meaning to mention this when I'm doing track stuff. When you're soldering to track, you want to have a Sharpie as part of your toolkit. Do I have any rails nearby? No, of course not. Of course I said this earlier because I knew I disposed of them all. So when you're doing it, on your bit of track, because for those that don't know, I solder to the bottom of the rail. If you then colour in each side of your rail with a bit of Sharpie, you can solder to the top of it and nothing will run down the sides because the Sharpie ink resists the solder, and so you can keep the sides of the rail clean And then when you're done, it just rubs off. Keep meaning to bring that up when I do track stuff on videos and stuff, but I always forget. But that is my tip for the evening. See, I do know stuff. Sometimes. Very cunning plan. I wish I'd known about this earlier. Yes, it's one that I always mean to bring up. I learned it from someone at club a while ago. I always forget to bring it up. And he was an electronics engineer. And he actually used to use Sharpies as solder resist on test circuit boards sometimes. So there's that one tinned up. There's that one tinned up. It's a very handy tip. It is good, isn't it? The tips that matter, yeah. It's good knowing people that know things. So he was working on one of the club layouts one evening and doing it, and I asked him why. And I found out that very handy tip. Every time I make a video that includes something to do with track, I think, oh, I need to mention this. And then always forget. So it's a good job it was here to remind me this evening. It still won't make me like soldering though. No, fair enough. Fair enough. I prefer it to some things. These, for example, are white metal and they are glued together. And ever since learning to solder white metal, I am not a fan of glued white metal. Because I can take that and just pull it apart. I mean, the reason the roof isn't attached is because I literally just ripped all the roofs off of them to make them weigh less for going behind a loco. Right, I'm going to solder this onto the first one. That is nice and tight. I'm going to check I've got it far enough back. I have not, that is fine. This is certainly one of the advantages of solder, is that you can do it like that. With my building, being able to rip things apart and start again is a good thing. Oh, but you can undo soldering, and you can undo it just as easy, just not by hand. I've shown once before on the live stream with white metal soldering, if you want to take the kit apart, put it in a pot and pour some boiling water on it and it just falls apart. White metal solder melts at 70 degrees, so by the time you've boiled the water, it's hot enough to melt the solder. Big lump there. I'm just going to file down, because although it's now in the right place, that big lump will get this in the way a bit of the So yeah, what white metal is very easy to start again with if you've soldered it. Yeah, that lump on the top there is also in the way. And there we go. I don't know why it wants to be round this way. That's really awkward of it. So now, of course, what we want is the right height for the bottom one. If you went in your hole, you'd be much easier to work with. I can see that, just. So that wants to go there. Afraid I'll have to say goodnight now. It's a great job there, Yari. Fascinating model. Many congratulations both you and Javier. Good to catch up with everyone. I'll try to join more in the future. All the best. I thank you for popping by, Ian. It has been absolutely fantastic to have you here. After all the white metal soldering, you forget how hot it is to be touching something when soldering brass. So yes, good night, Ian. Thank you for coming. It is very much appreciated. It is great to see you here. And I shall look forward to seeing you here again. Right, there we go. No, that's not strong enough, that bond. Dun 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 dun. That's enough of that before the copyright comes. No, they're too tight. I've rolled them too close together. They're okay at this end, so I must have actually rolled them. No, not from both of them. Now we'll have to remeasure it. Well, I've got a good idea where it was, but we'll have to remeasure it anyway. Never work with brass lengths quite this long. That is my advice. Right, it wants to be just inside that mark that's on there. That's nice and strong. Let's check it. Oh, and there's a link to the website from the chatbot. Because the chatbot wants you to visit the website and get my Google Ads up. That clearly wasn't strong enough a bond. Not doing it again because, you know, I'm pretty sure that's one of those properties where they are quite strict on the copyright stuff. Doing well here, aren't I? Let's put a cut in there. And now I don't have quite as much brass to move around. Yes, I know you're not strong enough in your bending. I just want to check you're in the right place. It looks a little too far apart to me. Click Gary's ads. You know what? Amazing. The last time we did that, where we had the joke about going on and clicking my ads, and obviously some of you did, I actually made 11p that night from my ads. So it did work. I mean, I'm still nearly £60 off the £60 that I need to be able to withdraw any money from it, but it did work. So if I hit that £60 once a year, twice a year, I'd be happy because that would pay for the hosting fees. now you appear to be too close together. I actually can't see the ads even with both my ad blockers disabled for your page. Yeah, if Google can't find relevant ads, it just doesn't serve any sometimes. And because I've only got the 2 sizes, then it can't always find an appropriate ad to show. I guess now that I'm done streaming, I'm never going to see whatever money I'd earned in the time I was affiliated. Yeah, I guess so. I'll tell you what, Alex, if it was me, I would have stubbornly held on until I had that money, regardless. But that's just me. Could it not just serve pictures of cute kittens instead? Unfortunately, Google don't see a reason to invest in cute kitten pictures to replace ads. And as there's no way for me to know whether the ads are going to show or not, there's no script I can run to do it for you. No one was subbed to me anymore. I wasn't earning anything after February. Yeah, well, I kept meaning to resub, but then payday would come and long go. I still think you should have had a Patreon. But that's just my personal opinion. And I understand your reasons for not having one. Could link to my friend's website which hosts animated bunny gifs. They're not kittens though. James wants kittens. Fiddly job this. And anyone who tells you it's not is a liar. I think I'm going to make this hole very slightly deeper. I think I'm not, because there's no way I'm getting that drill in there. Or maybe I am. It would help if there wasn't a load of solder on this end making it too thick, wouldn't it? Now, the writing was on the wall ages ago. Patreon would have not have changed anything. Now, I was not the only one that wanted you to have a Patreon. But as I say, Alex, I totally understand your reasons for not having one. They made perfect sense. So you don't need to defend the fact you didn't have one to me. That's better. It's round again now. Let's move this out of the way and make sure it goes in. Did I not get a hole in this one or something? Where have I put that drill now? Why do you lot let me put stuff down? Honestly, there it is. It's not good business practice. Yeah, I know. Failure is just a bitter taste. I don't think you're a failure with it, Alex. The length of time you went on for was really good. And besides, you could always stream Warhammer games. Yeah, no, there's no hole on that side. That's why it's not going in. That explains a lot. So I want to get this back in. Get the top one in. And yes, that will hold. That is fine. That worked. Annoyingly, there aren't many that are actually good, and I've done 2 of the few that are. Fair enough. I just felt like referencing that tweet you sent out the other day. Oh, that moment when you've measured several times, cut, glued, assembled, and it doesn't fit. Oh no! That's a bad moment. That is a moment where Gary recommends hydration is very important. Hydration is important mugs available from Gary's merch store on Teespring. ! Merch in the chat. Fun fact, when I had my mug last time and kept plugging that, I actually made 2 sales on those that night. So if you're watching, thank you. I do appreciate it. There we go, 2 links to the merch store. This still has a bit of bulk on it that can come off. I put the files away. These slide bars are another thing that will get epoxy once I am happy everything works. Because of course, if it doesn't all work, it's much easier to remove something that's super glued than something that's epoxied. Oh, and there is a link to the Patreon. Which of course, as the chatbot says, all funds donated to the Patreon are funneled back in to making content for you lovely people. Now my fingers are stuck together. Gary does not recommend sticking your fingers together whilst clearing glue spillages that are stopping glue coming out. It is not a way to have a fun time. Let's get those top bits done first, and then once they've had stuck a little bit, we'll do the bottom. As I say, epoxy, once we're happy it works. Epoxy is much better than super glue, makes a much nicer bond, will hold much stronger on moving parts, which is obviously quite important. You do not want to rely on super glue for moving parts. I personally don't like relying on super glue for permanent joins. But for temporary stuff, when you're making sure everything works, it's absolutely brilliant. So there we have our slide bars on that side. And doesn't it look much more like an engine now because of it? I'm very happy with how it looks. There's the super double length focus screen. Oh yes. Oh yes. Engines that look like engines are the best sort of engines. Indeed, James. Sideboards. Next time, can you get engines in that sentence a couple of extra times for me, though? So now we're going to do the same with this side. I'm just going to put the file over the solder that's on the end of this first. looks so nice. It does indeed. It'll look even better once we get the roof on it. Because of course she does have a roof. It just hasn't been on yet. Mainly because the roof will be really, really fragile. Right, that's our top one. That's our bottom one. And yeah, I actually sometimes when I have this model on display, because it does quite frequently sit out on display, because let's be honest, why wouldn't it? I do sometimes forget it's supposed to have a roof. And we shall tin these. And we shall drop this one. Because who needs a professional when you can have me? So, what is the time? It is nearly 10:30. So, as it is getting late, I must ask, what is everyone up to? Do we have any projects on the go? You know I love to hear about them. So let's hear about them. That definitely didn't just go into my thumb. Definitely not. Been gluing cork whilst waiting for that to dry. I'm fitting carriage lighting in Engage. Very nice. Very nice indeed. You are absolutely insane, James. But I love the attention to detail. Trying to draw a line under the Europa. Ah, well, it'll be good to see that one finished, because of course that is another one that I want. So I cannot wait to see that one finished, Killian. Ouch. Yeah, a little bit, Javier. A little bit. All the best people are insane. I quite agree, James. I quite agree. Just wrapping up platform canopy project for tonight. I'll have another look tomorrow. I have a possible idea for how to fix it, but I'm too tired to continue now. Well, I'm glad there is an idea for fixing it. Ideas for fixing it are good ideas, especially if they work. Right. There is a mark there that is where I'm going to do this. There is a reason I'm doing the bottom one first on this side. And that reason is quite simply, it's got better grip in the cylinder. I'm about 13 pages from the end. I'm loving this finale to the book. Wow, you've got through that fast. Studies are on the table at the moment. Physics is not as fun as CAD for obvious reasons. Physics. I always used to like physics. So, there's worse things you could be studying. I've got to go to work tomorrow, so I'll say good night. Okay, good night, Paderborn. Thank you for coming by. It is very much appreciated. Wow, that's a lot of smoke coming out my soldering iron. Like, a lot of smoke. I think it's all burnt off now. Soldering iron on fire. Now, I think it was flux burning off. Because there is a lot of flux about. True though, I'm not on very good terms with Mr. Arithmetic. I'm not usually on good terms with Mr. Arithmetic at this time of the evening, but that's not so much a problem for you, because it's not quite this time of the evening for you. But otherwise, I'm really good at it. Where's my other pen gone? Seriously, people, why do you let me put things down? I found it, it's fine. Top one wants to go just there. Oh yeah, that's marked it now, I can see that. Good, good. It just took its time. hot. That's very, 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 very hot. I find that Mr. Arithmetic becomes a lot friendlier if one approaches him in the company of Mrs. Calculator. I've never had a problem with doing it in my head. Do you find that cyanoacrylate glue holds up on the moving parts well? No. It will only get used on the moving parts for testing purposes. It will get replaced with 2-part epoxy once I am happy everything is in the right place. I do not advise super glue for anything permanent, especially moving parts. Me and Mr. Arithmetic have an understanding. He stays away from me and I stay away from him. And the chatbot says, remember kids, hydration is important. And I quite agree. Right, they're the right length. There's a bit too much build up on their face. That's not a problem, Andrew. And thank you for coming by. I hope you are well this evening. But yeah, please do not use cyanoacrylate on anything that is a permanent bond. Snip that down and check again, because there's no such thing as too much testing. I think I may have to head pretty soon. I'm afraid the day's off already. Not a problem, Lenny. Not a problem in the slightest. It's very appreciated. I appreciate the fact you have been here. It really does mean a lot. But I do not expect you to stick around forever. Mods need sleep too. Or so I've been told. Apparently I'm not allowed to keep all my mods locked in the basement and expect them to be monitoring stuff 24/7. I'm glad they told me this. Now that's definitely a command in the making. I add it to Discord. Good night, Linny. But first you do not test, and test again. Yeah. Exactly. Testing is important. After all, that is why I am once again filing down this lump of solder. that was glued in, that would be fine. So let's get that glued in. Why does testing is important? Sound a bit Portal-like to me. Honestly, I've never played Portal. I'm aware of Portal. I know what Portal is. I've never played it, so I don't know any direct quotes to compare it to tell you an answer to that question. Oh, I also have zero doubt I would enjoy it. But other than the obvious one, that I'm hoping you all know I know, because it's sitting in front of you, I don't actually know any quotes off the top of my head. Legasp, exactly. I suppose in some ways that does mean the cake command is a lie. Played the first one many years ago, can't remember much about it. So it was good then, left an impression on you, Alex. One of those really good games that you'd love to go back and play again and again and again. What is Gary's taste in computer games? I like big 4X games, as they're called. Which is where you have like big games like Civilization, epic strategies. So Paradox Games is a gaming company I rather like. I like flight simulators, preferably of the combat variety. If I want to fly for real, I'll fly. If I want to fly civilian, I'll fly for real. No, I've just played a stupid amount of games since. Yeah, you stick with that excuse. Funny, I just bought the orange box, Portal honestly feels like a short game. See, I know what the orange box is, so it's not like I'm completely oblivious to all these things. Recently replayed Portal 1, got through it quite quickly, not as good as Portal 2. But yeah, so currently sat on my desktop, I have shortcuts for Command and Conquer because what's it called? The re-release? Just remastered, isn't it? Yeah, Command and Conquer Remastered Collection. Age of Empires 3 and its expansion packs. Kerbal Space Program. Minecraft Prison Architect. Civilization 4. Combat Flight Simulator. And the Telltale's The Walking Dead. That is what I currently have installed on my laptop. So there is Gary's eclectic taste in games. Portal 2 has multiplayer, so it's more fun. Games with multiplayer are indeed more fun. Prison Architect, I approve of Prison Architect. And you fly for real. I haven't done for a long time. I did used to have a pilot's license once upon a yonder. You're supposed to be more attached than that. That's not good. That would explain things getting a bit tight and caught, wouldn't it? If you're popping out. I think that's a bit tight in there as well. But the wheels turn. The slide bars are on and the wheels turn. Success! That is, of course, where we had many problems last time. So this one is bugging me because this has come out and it's bent the rod slightly when it's come out. So I'm going to have to sort that. Yes, I remember the lack of wheel turnage. Yeah, and it was only once they went with the side rods on that it did it. It was suboptimal. It was indeed. I think honestly, like Half-Life more, I'd waited forever to get it. See, I've played Half-Life long ago. In a totally not ironic thing, I think it has been literally half my life since I've played Half-Life. I think I had it on PlayStation, I think, once upon a time. But yeah, so wheels can turn now. They know how to do that. They have learnt how to turn. And that makes us happy. Portal has very early Source games feel towards the end. It gives off that vibe. Fair enough. I used to play oh god, I can't even remember what it's called. I used to play it live when it's online. Still need to play for it Half-Life 1 at some point. I have it, but just like never had the urge to do it properly. Fair enough. I Counter-Strike Source, that's what I used to play all the time. Me and my mates had our own server for it. Back in the days when we did those things. So now that we've got the wheels turning, I'm gonna put a bit of glue, put a bit of paint on it that's in the correct green. Because I'm not dapper, and I want it to be the right colour. And also I want it to look really good by the end of stream. I'm going to give some extra care to this and give it a stir as well as a shake. Just because this is a colour that has been out of production for some time. So this has been sitting around on Mr. Phoenix Precision's shelves for quite a while. I think I paid £1 for it in the clearance. That's sort of how much he wanted to get rid of it. Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman, rise and shine. It's been a long time since I played Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, so much fun. I do remember enjoying them, so that's good. Probably stand by for a paint spill. Blue tack, paint spill. I'm aware of you shouting blue tack at me, Alex. I am currently holding it as I stir. Oh no, I ripped it. That's no good. Blue tack. Paint. But yeah, I do want it to look good, and I want it to look good tonight. Now that we've got the wheels turning. I don't know how well the colour change is going to show up on the screens, but it's a much more bluey green. And it did used to bug me that it was wrong. Let's see if it shows up. If I put that there and bring this back in, hopefully you can see that. And see the fact that it is a much bluer green. This has an advantage to its finish that I've not experienced yet with a Brighton engine, in that tank engines were not lined in the Craven period. So there is no lining to do. And that just seems super weird to me. They did have, though, really, really elaborate number plates, which I have seen our good friend Mr. McCormack is capable of. He has done some. I don't know if he's got ones for this one in stock, but I know he does them, so I can get these nice big elaborate number plates. You stir me right round, baby, right round. Like a paint pot, baby, right round, round, round. They're done. 488 page novel in one day. Pretty good going, I think. I agree, and that's a very good number. 488. Because not only is 488 the number of the Adams radial at the Bluebell Railway, it is also the number that Dapol and Rails have chosen for their SECR condition D class. I mean, you are fully insane for reading a 488 page novel in one day. But obviously it was good, so good is good. Just in case you were wondering. half an O line in makes things simpler. Indeed it does. Still need to line my day out with Thomas Ginty thinking about it. Well, I have a saying for that, Thomas. And that saying is, get on with it. It was so good, well worth it. Excellent. Are you going to keep us in suspense and never tell us what this novel is? Because I like good novels, even though I currently have a massive log of reference books I have to read for the upcoming project. The upcoming video project, that is, which will be a super multi-part series. And I believe everyone will really enjoy it. Some of the research it has taken is why there's been some missed videos recently. Because this is a sort of project that requires that level of research, that it is eating that much time. Maybe I want to put it off on purpose, need something for when the next 3 videos I have planned are done. That's fine, that just means you can do it now and film it, and you don't have to release it next. Don't think it would interest you, to be honest. One of the most recent Warhammer 40k novels, whilst it may not interest me, necessarily, there's others here that it might. But I am glad you did get back into them, because I know we talked about it the other day. I did wonder if it was a Warhammer one. After our discussion the other day. And there we go, she's all the right colour now. Yay, I'm not doing a Dapo anymore. And I didn't spill the paint. I did, however, rip this where I had a drawing pin through it to hold it on the pin board. And yes, before anyone mentions it, I do totally get the irony of holding my blue tack to up with a drawing pin. And I love that irony. Now Red, the only ones I own, at some point when I have spare funds, more will be purchased. Excellent. More purchased is good. Ooh, a book from Robin Hood Land. Woohoo, indeed have you. Indeed, although the author is from York. Wow, that's no good. That's just confusing things. Put the thing back on it before putting it away. So yeah, that's now in the right colour on it. I can confirm, even though it probably doesn't show up so well on camera, that it is quite different. Despite the colour swatches being very, very close in the HMRS guide, that is very different to what it was. York can be Honorary Robin Hood Land. It's not the true one. It's a good second. Do we as mere mortals get to decide these things then? So yes, there is that looking much better. Oh yes, much better. We're going to put some silver on the buffers as well. No, that's copper, that's gold, that's silver. I would do the roof and stuff on it, but there is a very small chance, and I do mean a very minuscule chance, that I have misplaced the bag with all the little parts for this project in, including the roof and the reverser and the brake. Only a very slight chance though. It's a proud papa moment there. Well, you deserve it, Javier. You did a fantastic job on this. So I don't go online each Sunday, except the stream obviously. I might try and read all day more. Maybe I'll start to get my book pile down a bit. That sounds like a good idea. Do you want to come and read all these books I've got here that I need to read? You can be my researcher. And a link to Javier. A very much well-deserved link to Javier. You should all get one of these. And if you don't want one of these, there's plenty of other stuff done by Javier on his Shapeways shop. It is an absolutely fantastic place. Maybe you could live stream reading War and Peace. Honestly, I think my reference pile that I need to read, luckily not all in one go, for upcoming project is longer than War and Peace. But there is quite a few books there. Would it be better to live stream books I want to read? And no, I won't. Are you sure? There's only a couple. I haven't sold it well, have I, as a job? I'm going to have to do my own research. I need a script editor. I mean, I think it would be more successful if I had an actual editor as well. I wonder what the copyright issues are around live streaming, doing YouTube videos of reading a book. I believe people have done it before. I don't think you'd be the first. You might be okay. There's only one way to find out, Alex. Crime and punishment. Can you be copyright claimed for it, I wonder? There's only one way to find out. And time to revive the channel, Alex. Get on it. I was thinking that you'd be reading it to yourself. I mean, technically, if you're live streaming it, aren't you reading it to yourself? or if you're doing it as a video. There we go. Nice silver buffers now. Oh, why have I put that out of reach? No, I trip over my words enough without doing something like that. But that makes it more fun. I assure you. That is more fun for the people. And we want that as well. And we want to sit back down. I've just realised I've not painted the wheels, but now that the buffers are done, it does want to be that way round really, doesn't it? Isn't she beautiful? I'm not sure where the camera is trying to focus it, but it appears to me to not be the loco. That's awkward. Is it focusing on my white, on the marks on the blooming screen? Ah, that's better. There we go. Isn't she gorgeous? Absolutely fantastic. Bit of pointless room, isn't it? Of course, that's the point. I approve of buffers being done. Indeed, it looks so much better with them painted. Locomotives SCR by Don Bradley. I've got that one. Yes, I'm well aware of actually revel in my misery. Not just yours, Alex. Not just yours. Chronicles of Bolton signed by A.R. Bennett. I've not got that one. She looks marvellous, gorgeous, like quite a shiny little beauty. She is indeed very shiny at the moment. That's probably the wet paint though, to be fair. Looking splendid, yes. So I say that the CAD artist should be very proud of themselves, whoever they may be. Exclamation mark Javier in the chat, everyone. She's absolutely beautiful. And that was all my other bits of brass wire that you heard there. Very nice, thank you, Andrew. So, what do we do next? Because I don't want to pull the wheels off and paint them. They're going to be really awkward to paint. And I need to see why that screw has come out. That's what I need to do, isn't it? Which one was it? This one. If that stripped the blooming threads inside the wheel, that's not a good thing. Because I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be able to press that in and out. There should definitely need to be some twisting involved. Yes, I know I've popped you off. That's what happens when you get manhandled. No, that's not better. It does appear as if it has stripped all the threads in that hole. believe she gets a bonnet if I'm not wrong. She needs a cab roof, but I've blooming put the bag somewhere when I was tidying up the other day. Because the roof and all the pre-cut bits of wire for it and all the brakes that have broken off are all in one little bag together to stay safe. Disapprove of strict threads. Indeed. I think that wheel, long term, is going to need replacing. For now, we're going to put a bit of glue in it. Just so that it doesn't keep falling apart. But I do believe that's going to need replacing. It's not ideal, and it means that she definitely won't run this evening. Oh dear, not great, but not terrible. Indeed, I need 300 rock gems. Right, I have a feeling I know where that bag is. I believe it's in the box for the loco. That would make sense. So, I shall be back in a second, everyone. Enjoy some music. So there's a very good chance that that bag is in the box, because, you know, I do keep all my projects in their correct boxes. The bad news is I'm not 100% sure where that box is. So right now I'm going to refill the hydration and remind everyone that hydration is important. My hydration vessel says so. And for some reason, as well as being live, we are recording. So I'm going to say no Streamlabs. I don't actually want to record this as well. If I want to see it again in the future, I'll download it from YouTube, where it will be saved forever. Because not doing that would be silly. We're going to open a fresh bottle of hydration. And yes, the popcorn command isn't as relevant for times when you actually want popcorn, is it? There we go. Hydration well and truly filled. So let us partake. So yes, how is everyone? We're going to make some couplings for this now. Because of course that is something else it is missing from looking complete. And couplings are needed from my big pile of bits. Yes, you're the ones I want. You don't have to do. We're making small strides anyhow. Indeed. But yeah, it only occurred to me about 8:15 that I didn't have the bag with the roof in it. Oh no, I've stuck the... There we go, that's better. I had stuck the soldering iron cord to the workbench. It is no longer stuck. So yes, we're going to get some nice Smith's couplings on these. This is going to require some degree of modification. So this should be fun. Because Mr. Craven did not think about us modelers with our big sprung couplings when he was designing this loco. This back one goes through almost okay. This front one though has some problems because of course the footplate is lower at the front, as you can see, and I think that was very rude of Mr. Craven to do that. Although from what I hear about him, probably one of his nicer traits still. We could have had it much worse. So we are going to look around. We're going to once again ask, why do you not let me put stuff down? I should just have everything in my hands at all times. That mark, let's make that a bit deeper. We'll double check it to make sure we are cutting this to the right length. We are. We then snip and file. That's not the one I want. The one I want is over here, not away. I wonder if that is actually a fault in retrospect. There is... So that then slides in there with no problem whatsoever now. So we shall get some coupling pieces on there so we can actually couple up to the front of it, and then we'll do one for the back. But yeah, I do think it's very rude of Mr. Craven that he didn't make these easy for putting Smith's links in when he was Smith's hooks in when he was designing the logo. Absolutely no consideration for us future modelers. Usually the pump that's there is a bit odd. It is very odd, isn't it, in the way that's positioned at the front. Yeah, I was in Lando last week and day before returning I went to Stinny Hog Railway, picked myself up a couple of coal staves. Excellent! Excellent. You best get them built on a layout then, Thomas. Because that's where they need to be. And there is one link. It must have been heavy to carry back. Oh, I thought about a similar joke, but not until after I said my bit, so I thought I'd leave it. No, pre-built, just need to weather them and decide on a suitable coal company name. Well then, I have a saying for that, Mr. Morris. Get on with it. And there is our front coupling. Which sits through like this and is a right pain. Because now we've got to attach that. For now, I think we're going to drop a blob of super glue on it. And let that run down into the space that Javier very nicely provided for us. And then we'll come up with something a bit more permanent. The rear coupling, on the other hand, we saw managed to go all the way through. So we will build this as designed. And we will continue to find it really annoying that the bits I'm trying to grab are brass and everything else is steel, and that these pliers are magnetised. Not by design, they've just become magnetised whilst doing jobs involving magnets over the years. Sometimes it is useful. Oh, they certainly were. No, luckily, Mama Svetras is fine. I will get on with it as soon as I have a name. You do have a name. Your name is Thomas. Now, I don't want to hear any more excuses. So, first link gets bent round. I need to aim that up slightly, don't I? Placed onto the shackle. And then the second loop gets bent round. I meant the coal company name, I don't want to use the ones provided, that seems too easy. That does indeed seem too easy. Oh, I like that, James. Canary Brothers, that's brilliant. If Oak Hill didn't have a coal merchant named for a reason, I would so be stealing that. And that goes through, and we have a rear coupling. Now the question is, can we actually get all the rest of the parts for the coupling in between the frames here? I think we're going to struggle with that being too long, so we'll cut that down. But we also need to get the spring in there and round on it first. Oh, there we go, the spring's in place. That was easier than expected. What am I doing looking at? Morton Key is surrounded by companies named after family members I know, very original, so I need to fathom out which member to use. Fair enough. Ah yes, animal cruelty, funny, haha. Well, it's not the animal cruelty itself that's funny, is it, Alex? We all know the animal cruelty isn't the funny bit. Yeah, that should be able to get in there. So, we want to cut this down. I approve of easier than expected. Indeed, first try, yeah? It was significantly easier than expected. Of course, this is the hard part. I have never enjoyed getting it. I can take these wheels off, can't I? Why am I doing this with the wheels in place? I can see what I'm doing if I take them off. Now, you all let me put that split pin down. Why did you let me put the split pin down? It's ironic how much I lose my tools and have to say that tonight, with the fact we never lose anything on this live stream, isn't it? Never mind, I do literally have a million of those split pins. I have a bag of spares up here. In fact, this spares bag has smaller split pins in it that probably don't even need cutting down. Have to make a list of companies properly as to cross everyone off the list. All I know for sure is the cider company on the key will be called Christine Cider Co. You need a spreadsheet. You do need a spreadsheet, Thomas. James is right. Sure those I've spoken to in the voice chat Discord server will know why I'm naming it that. I'll just get this notepad file, it'll take up less memory. I mean, spreadsheets aren't known for being massive memory wise. Spreadsheets are easier to use, surely, and Hot Gary said, yeah, I would definitely be using a spreadsheet. That's a lie. That's a massive lie, isn't it? We all know that not only would I not use a spreadsheet, I would make a web service for myself to do it with. Cough cough, rolling stock database. This spring really does not want to be compressed. Aha, there we go. Now what have I done with a split pin? Yeah, of course you've slipped off whilst I was getting the split pin. That's typical. I remember thinking I'd be able to see what I was doing better if I took the wheels off. That was a lie. I can see none of what I'm doing. And these pliers are annoying me with their magnetism now. It's all against me, I say. I honestly have no clue. I've never really used spreadsheets. It's been at least 8 years since I last used one. Spreadsheets are splendid. I use many for modelling. I have to agree with James here. Spreadsheets are brilliant. Right, it's in the hole, sort of. And now, because magnetism, it's not, of course. And now it's nowhere near the hole. I'm going to be honest, this is not the least fiddly thing I've ever done. Raise your hand if you're shocked. Infamy, infamy, they've got infamy. There you are. I see you. Get off the motor. That's the original one. I told you we don't lose anything on this live stream. That's the one I cut down. That's not the one I cut down, and there's the other one. They're all here. See, we lose nothing. If I could get a grip on this. Right, let's go up and see the chat that I'm missing. Sort of is the best kind of I think. I'm going to pretend I remember what that's referencing. Yes, definitely. Have to wait and see if I can get OpenOffice working again, then try and give it a go. Plus, push that one off there. Plus, would rather use OpenOffice than the Mac equivalent, both as it's free and not made by Apple. What exactly is the least fiddly thing you've ever done? Sleeping. LibreOffice better than OpenOffice. LibreOffice fork of OpenOffice. Very much approve of FOSS indeed. Thought that was just the Linux equivalent. No, it's a fork. Is there a little knife to go with it? Probably. Go use it for cutting polystyrene sheet. Still between Open and Libre. I can't recall details now, but split in the community years ago over some GUI feature, and most of the active developers went Libre fork, so that's better developed. Have to call it a night. Thanks, friends. Stay safe. Bye for now. Regards, Bob. Okay, thank you for coming, Bob. It has been great to have you here. Really do appreciate it. It means a lot. So thank you for coming, and I hope to see you next time. Good night, and enjoy some more time at Arley. I recommend it. And hydration. Enjoy hydration on hot days. Oh, and I again agree with James on the LibreOffice, OpenOffice thing. I remember when the fork happened. It's done. It's done. That coupling is never coming off again. And my 2 spare split pins, which are here, can go back in the spares bag because we have used the original, because we don't lose anything on this live stream. I suppose whilst these... No, I'm not going to paint these wheels whilst they're off. They're probably actually easier to paint whilst they're on. What I do want though is the back to back. That seems good to me. So now we have couplings. This is much easier with my proper coupling hook. Shunter's pole even. So splendid. Yes, look. She's got couplings now. She's a real choo-choo and can pull things. Couplings are nearly as big as the blooming loco. And all these Stroudleys I got the other day have come with Romford screw links, and I'm not a fan of them, of either their looks or usability. I much prefer Smiths for both of them. Scale couplings are the only couplings. Indeed, Killian. That needs to be a command as well, doesn't it? All these springs have come out of my spares bag. I'd best get them put away. You're the wrong spares bag. Why do I have 2 spares bags? Who knows? But let's get these all away before we lose them. Well, a couple she pulls trains now, they say. Well, she would do if she had pickups. Then, yes, she would definitely be able to pull trains. Oh, yeah. No. I just suddenly thought to myself, where did we plan to put the DCC? It's in the firebox. The firebox is empty. Presumably one of the spare bags is a spare. Indeed. Got to have spare spares bags. Well, in reality, she needs a lot more doing than just the roof and the pickups. She actually still needs some brass bearings adding for the driving wheels, because they currently have none. So she wouldn't run very long like that. That was done for the testing of the motor to make sure she could run all right. Which of course turned out she could. I've never got round to adding any. I have some in a box, but they can stay there for now. Much better than a bit of rope. Indeed, due time. Where'd you get the Stroudleys from, out of curiosity? eBay. These are Kay's kits from many, many years ago. They are going to get completely destroyed and rebuilt. And they are going to get significant improvements to them. So obviously not this one, because I picked it up okay. This one, as an example, the wheels just kind of fall out of it. This set don't. It's only this set that do. But the frames are really, really, really at an angle. So they just fall out. sometimes just when you pick it up. I ripped all the roofs off, so that's fine, that's not a fault with them. You can see there that this wheel set is at an angle to the body. That's not the camera, that's not your eyes. This wheel set is wonky. This wheel set is not. It also appears that the body gets narrower as it goes back. So they've messed up sticking the end in. And that's probably what's caused that. Luckily, these are all only glued, so I can just give them a bit of a tug and they come right apart. So they're going to be nice and easy to dismantle and rebuild. This here, this is why we don't glue white metal kits. Because if you can do that and it falls apart, it's not very well put together, is it? I even forget it's getting DCC. Did I tell you how much magic you do, Gary? It's not me that does magic. I didn't do the magic. That was you. Granny needs to stop losing her wheels, yeah? Solder better than glue. Exactly, James. They will be getting soldered. But yeah, let's see. I remember sending you the dimensions for these chips, and there's plenty of room in the firebox for it. That's not my magic, Javier, that's yours. But yes, I'm gonna at least do some of them off screen. But because I've done building K's Stroudleys on stream before. But what we are going to do on stream is improve them. So the roofs are going in the bin. They're going to be replaced by plasticard roofs with oil lamps on them. The wheels, they're going in the bin. They're going to get replaced by Gibsons. The axle boxes, the springs, the cast W irons, all going. It's going to get etched W irons. It's going to get new springs and axle boxes. These are available. The W irons are available from Ian, EB Models. The springs and axle boxes are available from Chris Cox at 5 and 9 Models. To proper Stroudley pattern. The trusses on the bottom, they'll be going because they didn't have them. They'll be getting... I mean, this floor is made of cardboard and is not very well stuck in. So they'll be getting new floors. Some of them don't even have a floor. They'll be getting floors, they'll be getting compartment dividers. They'll be getting new buffers. Stroudley pattern buffers, because these are not Stroudley pattern. They'll be getting new couplings of the Smiths variety, because I hate these Romford ones. And for some reason, we don't even have screw links on the ends of these. So there's a lot of work to do to these, but it will be worth it. They will be very nice coaches when they're done. And they are going to get varnished mahogany as their livery. It will be my first attempt at doing an actual wooden livery. So I am looking forward to that. Glue better than solder, spoken as wargamer and plastic kit builder. Glue is fine for plastic kits, obviously. These white metal ones though, you've seen how bad they are. Will the new roofs be less wobbly? Much less wobbly, yes. Because this one is basically flat here. Might have glued my Snowden Ranger together. Well, I've just shown you the problem with gluing white metal kits. And there is a link to the Facebook page. I approve of flaws. Read that as flaws, not flaws. Will do. I will definitely not read it as flaws, but instead will read it as flaws. Have you any intention of getting the Genesis carriages? I have some on pre-order. It would be very mean of me to shout at Hattons as much as I have and not get any, wouldn't it? So yes, I do have some on pre-order. Varnish mahogany, goodness, work is required. Indeed. If all else fails, just go orange. No, we want a deep red mahogany. Think Brian May's guitar. That is the colour we want. Not just plastic. I used to glue Warhammer metal stuff together all the time. Never had an issue. Did you maybe put a bit less force than I put onto that carriage? Because right now I'm thinking this carriage has been manhandled by Oliver. I want to say it's Oliver that pulled apart the troublesome brake van. It might have been one of the Scottish twins. Someone will correct me. I know this is how little knowledge I have on railway series, etc. Are the roofs going in the bin? If so, I'd take them. On their own kits. I do wonder... Wow, I do wonder if someone like Ian or Chris, if they'd see a light bodge job on a carriage like that. Thankfully, people treat my kits tenderly. All of my ideas for these have come from Eric Gates originally, who has a thread on RM Web about it. And he did make them look significantly better than they are. Oh, sold a mulch Raphael when the time comes. Good idea. Who's Brian May? The guitarist for Queen, who built his own guitar out of an 18th century mahogany fireplace. It is called the Red Special. It is a fantastic guitar. It makes a wonderful noise. Are the roofs going in the bin? If so, I'd take them. Yes, Harry, the roofs are going in the bin. You can have them if you really want, but they are really heavy. The reason they are going in the bin is because these together weigh more than some locomotives I have. Thinking NWR orange? No, Thomas. No. Oliver pulled apart Scruffy, Donald or Douglas pushed the brake van apart. Fair enough. I was actually thinking of Scruffy, Alex, now that you mention it. I could picture the scene. I just for some reason thought it was a brake van. Doug Trust, spiteful brake van. Oliver pulled Scruffy apart because he was rusty. James May's long lost brother. No. What a waste of a good fireplace. I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong because, yeah, but also it's a fantastic guitar. I'm in it for the white metal. Ah, fair enough. If that's all you're in it for, then yeah, you can have them. I've got a couple more as well that can go with them. So you are welcome to them. Because they are otherwise just going in the bin. Because I'm not going to melt down the white metal and use it for anything else. You're welcome to it. 23:53. We are nearly at the end, everybody. All this talking of future projects. I think we'll finish the Craven next week. I approve of recycling. Indeed, James, so do I. Excellent, can I message you tomorrow afternoon? Of course, Harry. Of course you can. But yeah, I do think that this little thing here is going to be done next week. And then I'm going to be able to get to put it on the layout and know that it works. And I'm going to have to build some Craven carriages to go behind it. I don't want to say it's small or anything, but that's the buffer beam lined up at the back there. If you finish the Craven and have some time left, perhaps you could recite the Raven. Nevermore. Thank you very much. That's all right, Harry. Does look good. Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful loco. I've just remembered where the bag of the roof and stuff is. I've been looking through the pots and stuff in my kit drawer, which is where the actual loco was. The bag of stuff is in there, folded up within my reference papers for Craven livery. That's where the bag of the roof and bits are. Blooming typical, that. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak, eerie, as I pondered weak and weary, many quaint and curious volume with forgotten lore. There we go, I got that far through. Quite eager to see it finished. For honest, you've done it very wonderfully, Gary. You're not the only one eager to see it finished, but yes, I can imagine you are. It was just before Christmas I got this now. So we're looking at 9 months that I've had this. I mean, to be fair though, for a kit, that is quite quick. Even for me, that's a fast turnaround. But yeah, I cannot wait to see it finished. It's going to be amazing. The Craven is a loco I have wanted for years and years and years and years and years. Well, this specific Craven is a loco I've wanted for years and years and years and years and years. And now it's sitting in front of me, almost finished. And yeah, that feeling is pretty amazing. So thank you for doing it, Javier. Because without you, I would not have this loco. Everyone go and buy something from Javier's Shapeways shop. Do it now. Do it. I'm going to get this back. And I'm going to try and not put any more fingerprints on it, because that's going to be a pain to clean up and sort out where I have put a fingerprint on it. There we go, that's better. Still have 115 in your future? Indeed, and that's another one that I really want. Although admittedly I've not wanted that one as long as I wanted this one for. Purely because I knew of this one and its connection to the town first. But yes, it is another one I am looking forward to, Killian. Oh, look at that, I've managed to it steamed past my white scene. Don't drop camera, I literally have this arm to stop that. I need some model goodness, I have a headache. Well, there is some model goodness right here. College algebra is killing me. Yeah, I can get that. Still need to make the LBSCR Pullman. Well, Ian of EB Models will soon have etched brass ones of them available. There we go. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Isn't she absolutely beautiful? Such an... She's an elegant little tank engine, isn't she? When you consider that she was built for a nowhere line to run backwards and forwards a few miles. She's absolutely beautiful. Woo, absolutely wonderful. Craven delight, gorgeous. Oh, well, then I need to make some LBFC coaches for you. Well, I certainly won't complain at that. I could give you huge lists of coaches I need. Very mid-Victorian. Gary, that's your best paint. I agree with the Craven. It looks wonderful. So, yes, thank you everyone. I really appreciate you all being here. It's been absolutely wonderful. I have had a great time, even if we haven't made the most progress. I think what we've made has been significant in the progress we have made. Because of course it was such a stumbling block for us with this loco before. But it's now done, and she is looking so much more complete because of it. So thank you for coming. It has been absolutely fantastic having you here. I cannot wait for next week. I'm hoping to have a video out for you this Tuesday. I've actually got some stuff on order. If it comes on time, I will have a nice video, a pretty decent video for Tuesday. Otherwise, I'm going to have to think about what I'm doing. And of course, the research for my new project is getting in the way. That's going to be 6 or 7 hours worth of stuff in total. Like actual 6 or 7 hours worth of viewing for your pleasure once it is done. So it will be worth it in the end, all these videos I've missed. There will of course be a video on Thursday for another look at the Craven, because let's be honest, there's no such thing as too much of this. Significant progress is good. Thank you, James. Craven. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Javier. Excellent stream. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Alex. Thank you all. And good night. It's been a lot of stuff. Good night indeed. So, thank you for coming. Good night, everybody. I've been Gary. This has been Let's Build. You've been absolutely awesome. Bye for now.